Life is a journey that we all have to go through. And that journey, it depends on you how you live it. My name is Muriel Richards. I was born in Barbados in the Caribbean, and I came to this country in 1956.
This is something else, isn't it?
This is something else, Carmen. I didn't expect this at all.
Well,
it was on a conversation I was having with Mrs. Richards. I said to her, well, just out of interest, where in Scotland did you work for those years? And she said, Stirling. And then she told me the name of the hotel, the Allen Park, and she said, well, I don't know if it still exists. Googled, it's still there. Then she said, oh, it'd be nice to return. And I said to her, well, I'm so glad you're telling me it's Stirling. I said, well, I've got a very close colleague who works in Stirling. I said to her, well, I'll see if we can make it happen.
Everything is different. Everything is different. I know I keep saying that I wish I'd never left sometime. I wish I'd never leave. But I left and I'm back now. Really nice.
How are you today? You all right?
yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just admiring your station, nice and clean, isn't it lovely? Mackie,
Oh, this is different.
it is different, isn't
And
it?
there were taxi parks out here. But it's all...
It's lovely though, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's
Gosh,
nice.
this is very nice.
"70 years ago, I walked through those doors. Everyone was so nice.
Take your time, Susie.
I'm the general manager.
Oh, how do you do?
Lovely to meet you.
Hello.
This is Mrs. Richards.
Pleasure.
Hello.
Welcome back
Yes.
to the Allen Park.
Thank you. But when I first came here, the room next to the kitchen is where I was.
Right, okay.
And it was only a little box room.
I wonder if that's what I now refer to as the office.
Office,
It
probably.
it could potentially be.
This was 1956, you know, so...
Well, I mean, as you say, you would expect some changes, but
Yeah.
on the sides.
And I remember standing in front there and we took the pictures, yeah. This is Mr. and Mrs. Gillespie. They were the owner of the hotel. And me, outside the Allen Park Hotel in 1956.
Our past is a key part of who we are. It's a central part of who we are, all of us. However, when with certain people who are living with certain aspects of dementia, they may forget what's happening today. They may have forgotten the holiday they went on just 3 weeks ago. But for many, when it comes to their memories from back in the day, they are really, really acute. They are, once again, the storyteller, and people are listening to them. They're sharing information, enabling them to reminisce, enabling them to be returned to the pedestal of the storyteller. Is so constructive in so many ways.
This project would offer something that might allow us to look at supporting dementia in a different way. If we can gain learning from the best way to support an individual, how then can we disseminate to support a group of individuals? Or in the case of Mrs. Richards, a culture, a whole citizenship of individuals.
Welcome.
Hello.
Lovely to see you. I'm Margaret.
I'm Muriel.
Oh, Muriel, lovely. Can I get a hug? Oh, lovely, lovely to see you.
Nice
And
to
welcome to Townbreak.
A central part of this journey of return and discovery was linking up with other people who are on similar dementia journeys. And I was so happy when I realized that there was a group called Town Breaks, which is a support and activity group which meets on a regular basis here. Just the song you've just been singing, Loch Lomond. Yes? If you're Scottish, that song means a lot. Why? You've grown up with it. You sometimes just have to hear the tune and yeah, you come alive. It's something you can relate to. And it's something which we are doing within the Memory Hub, yes, from an African Caribbean perspective. Because there's hymns and songs and stories, etc., which are in our genes. When we were born and we heard it from our elders, etc., yeah, which we relate to, and we just click just like that, yeah. So that's one of the reasons why because there's a big gap in services throughout England. So there is a cultural gap. Once one has access to the appropriate resources, the care worker can engage in meaningful engagement. It's not rocket science. And that was one of the triggers that pushed me into developing resources to fill that gap. And the funding from the Dementia Trust, yeah, that was a great support in helping me to develop some of these resources. One of the reasons of us coming back, and it's a journey of discovery, is to reflect on these links which link historically Scotland and Barbados and the Greater Caribbean. But what it says there is Beechwood Park has a long history dating back to the late 18th century. Mm-hmm. The large house that you can see, Beechwood House, was built around 1770, along with the stables and a coach house. But what isn't mentioned as to where the wealth came from in order to actually...
they weren't going to mention that, were they? You know?
It's interesting and important to be aware of these links, yeah, because our histories are so interlinked, and also it's important to learn from them as well. And aspects of our culture are directly linked, or as a direct result. So for argument's sake, the pepper we use, the Scotch bonnet pepper, yeah, given the name because of the hat, the Scottish bonnet it resembled back in the 1700s. So it was given the name, the Scotch bonnet pepper. If you look at throughout the Caribbean, when it comes to our national costumes, every Caribbean island has a different national costume. And the vast majority, I won't say all, it probably is all, but the vast majority of those national costumes will have what different pieces, different styles of madras. And when Scottish people look at that, they think it's tartan. But once again, it's from slavery days. That's the material and the styles of material which were used as forms of dress, which now, is forms of, not just forms of culture, but style and fashion as well. So for Muriel, this return trip, and we called it a journey of return and discovery, was so full of learning and surprises. And the biggest surprise was she was totally unaware that her son had planned to come up and visit her.
I think there's somebody here who wants to speak to you.
What are you doing here? Oh my God! What are you doing? What do you mean pretend to eat it? You want anything?
No.
You know your mother or your grandmother, and you can see the difference in him or her, and you knew something is wrong. You take an interest in your elderly parents, and you are the one now that got to help them because you spotted something is wrong. Now they're not going to know, but that's what I can say. You're going to spot it straight if you're interested in your parents. You say, well, my mum never did that before, or my gran never did that before. So you keep an eye on her or him. And if you see that happening, then you know you've got to do something.
We need to avoid this negative narrative in regards to dementia. Yeah, we need to disengage ourselves from this continual negative narrative about dementia. Once a person's been diagnosed today, they're the same person as they were yesterday. Their interests, they're the same. So what's important isn't to start to focus upon what they can't do. The key is how can we ensure that individual can continue to live well with their dementia.
And I said at this dementia meeting that I was involved in, I said, you know, I wish I'd never left. I wish I could go back to Scotland. And he took it up from there. I have to thank him for me being here. If I don't get to go anywhere else, I've been back to the Allen Park, the first place I live and work at when I came to this country.